Listen closely, because this is not small, and it is not random. Something is moving again in the quiet space behind your daily thoughts. Someone you tried to place in the past is not fully in the past at all. Their energy is still brushing against your inner world, still stirring feelings you thought had settled, still creating that strange pressure you cannot explain out loud. And if you have been feeling an unusual pull lately, if their memory keeps showing up at the wrong time and in the stillest moments, there is a reason. This is not about panic. It is not about chasing. It is not even about getting instant answers. It is about noticing what your deeper self has already started to feel before your mind can turn it into words. Stay with me, because what comes next may connect pieces you have been carrying for longer than you realize. There is a message here, not loud, not direct, but real. And once you see it clearly, you may never look at this connection in the same way again. There is a person in your life whose presence has not truly left you, even if their voice has become distant or completely silent on the outside. That silence does not mean emptiness. Silence is often full of tension, full of memory, full of feeling that has not yet found a safe way to speak. The urgency you feel now is not happening for no reason. Something beneath the surface is trying to rise, a truth, an emotion, a realization that has stayed buried for too long and is now pressing upward with force. This person may not have the courage yet to say what they are carrying in a clear and honest way. But that does not mean nothing is happening within them. In many cases, the outer stillness hides the strongest inner movement. Their distance may not be rejection. It may be conflict. Their quiet may not mean they forgot. It may mean they are struggling to understand what they feel. And if certain memories have been returning, if dreams have started to feel heavier, if your mind goes back to them without warning, do not dismiss it too quickly. That pull matters. That pattern matters. Keep listening, because the deeper meaning is just beginning to show itself. When two people share a bond that reached past the surface, communication does not always end when words stop. Something remains active under everything that can be seen. That is why you may sense them before anything happens. That is why a song, a place, a small detail in the middle of an ordinary day can suddenly bring them rushing back into your awareness with surprising force. These are not always accidents. Sometimes they are the mind's way of drawing attention to what was never fully understood or completed. There is something this person wants you to understand, even if they have not spoken it. Maybe they misunderstood your heart when it mattered most. Maybe they stepped back because what they felt was too strong, too exposing, too difficult to hold. Maybe they ran from the very thing that was asking them to be honest. But now, in the space created by your silence, by your distance, or by the change in your energy, they are beginning to see what they could not see before. Your absence has become a mirror. It is forcing them to sit with what they avoided. And that kind of reflection can be hard, sharp, and impossible to ignore for long. So do not rush, do not force the moment. But do not pretend it means nothing either. The real power in this situation does not come from action taken too fast. It comes from stillness. It comes from awareness. It comes from your ability to feel what is happening without being pulled into reaction. That is important, because the message moving toward you may not be as simple as "come back" or "I miss you." It may be deeper than that. It may be the slow arrival of realization inside them, the growing understanding of how important your presence really was, the painful discovery of what it cost them to walk away from something genuine. But realization alone does not fix everything. They may still be confused. They may still be tangled in fear, regret, pride, uncertainty, or old wounds that make direct expression feel almost impossible. So the deeper question becomes this: where are you standing inside yourself now? Have you looked honestly at what this connection means to you beyond desire, beyond loneliness, beyond attachment? Because this moment is not only about them waking up to their feelings, it is also about you waking up to your own truth. And if you miss that part, you miss the center of everything. Stay here. This part matters more than it seems. The message trying to reach you is not hiding in obvious sentences. It lives in feeling. It lives in the tension you notice when your mind drifts back to them without warning. It lives in those quiet moments when something in you says there is more here than the surface story. If you are willing to receive what is being shown, not through fear, not through fantasy, but through calm awareness, you will begin to understand what is truly being communicated. There is a strong emotional signal moving in your direction. It is not arriving through direct words. It is arriving through subtle shifts, through weighted silences, through recurring thoughts, and through the sense that something unfinished keeps reaching for your attention. This kind of message appears softly, often when you are alone, often when you are not trying to think about them at all, often when a normal moment suddenly feels charged with memory. That is how deeper truth enters, quietly, repeatedly, and if you push it away every time it rises, it does not disappear. It simply returns later in another form. So instead of rejecting it, let yourself notice it, not to feed obsession, not to create stories, but to understand what your inner life is trying to bring into the light. What you are moving through now may be a form of inner communication that operates beyond ordinary interaction. The other person is likely facing a private struggle where real feeling is beginning to rise, whether they are ready or not. Their silence may look simple from the outside, but inside it may be anything but simple. It may be the sound of someone wrestling with truth. It may be the pause before admission. It may be the distance created by fear. You might feel sudden emotion for no clear reason. You might notice their presence in your thoughts, in ways that feel stronger than memory alone. You might feel as if something unresolved is asking to be seen one more time. Do not be too quick to call it imagination. Emotional bonds that mattered do not leave the inner world easily. When something important remains unspoken, the mind has a way of bringing it back again and again until it is understood. That is why unfinished connections can create a low, restless tension in the background of your life. Not because you are weak, not because you are stuck, but because some part of you knows there is meaning here that has not yet been fully faced. And meaning has a way of returning until it is met with honesty. What this person may be feeling is not just simple regret. It may be the slow recognition of value. They may be revisiting the past and seeing it with different eyes now. They may be rethinking words they once dismissed, replaying moments they once moved past too quickly, realizing that what felt ordinary at the time was actually rare. They may feel your absence more strongly now than they ever expected to. And with that realization comes conflict, because seeing the truth is one thing, knowing what to do with it is another. They may want to reach out, but not know how. They may feel drawn toward you, then stop themselves with doubt. They may move between clarity and confusion in a loop that keeps them still on the outside while everything shifts on the inside. This is why mixed signals often happen. This is why silence can hide more emotion than speech. This is why what looks like distance may actually be the result of something building. But hear this clearly. Your task is not to chase clarity out of them. Your task is to stay close to your own emotional truth so you can see the situation without losing yourself inside it. That balance is everything, and very few people hold it well. There is someone connected to you who is living inside a deep inner split between what they feel and what they can express. On the outside, they may appear quiet, controlled, distracted, or absent. Inside, they may be moving through waves of memory, fear, longing, and resistance they did not expect to face. People often step away from emotions that feel too large. They try to bury them, outrun them, or explain them away. But what is pushed down does not vanish. It gathers force in the dark until it returns. And that may be exactly what is happening now. Your shift in energy, your pulling back, your silence, or simply your changed presence has acted as a trigger. When someone loses easy access to your warmth, they are left alone with what they actually feel. That can be deeply revealing. It can also be deeply uncomfortable. They may now be seeing what your presence meant in a way they never allowed themselves to see before. They may be questioning choices they once defended. They may be looking at old moments and noticing the emotion they refused to name at the time. This process is not easy. It shakes pride. It exposes fear. It breaks illusion. And because of that, they may still remain silent even while the truth grows louder within them. You may begin to notice these shifts, not through direct contact, but through subtle changes that resist easy explanation. Their energy may enter your thoughts more strongly. Old memories may return with surprising detail. Emotions may rise in you without a clear external cause. This does not mean you need to build a fantasy around it. It means something in the bond still holds charge. Real connections leave marks. They shape the inner world in ways distance cannot erase overnight. Fear is often at the center of why people stay quiet. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of being seen too clearly. Fear of rejection. Fear of admitting they mishandled something valuable. Fear of discovering that the feeling is real and cannot be controlled. These fears create barriers. They keep a person locked between wanting to move closer and being terrified to do it. So their behavior may look inconsistent. One moment they seem present in some quiet way. The next they disappear again into hesitation. But do not make the mistake of thinking inconsistency means no feeling. Very often it means the opposite. It means feeling is there, but courage is not steady yet. And until courage grows, silence may continue to carry the weight of what words have not said. This connection cannot be explained through logic alone, because it lives partly in that deeper place where meaning is felt before it is understood. When two people have shared real vulnerability, real honesty, or moments that touched something deep, the bond can continue beneath the surface long after outer contact has changed. That is why silence does not always end the story. Sometimes it changes the form of the story. The connection keeps moving under everything, shaping thoughts, emotions, choices, and inner reactions in quiet ways. What you are in now may be a turning point, not a dramatic one that announces itself with certainty, but a psychological one, where both of you are being pushed toward greater honesty. You may already feel your own perspective changing. You may be asking deeper questions now, not only about them, but about yourself, about who you became through this connection, about what it exposed in you, about what it taught you to need, to fear, to protect, or to finally face. This is important, because sometimes the true message is not only that the other person is waking up, sometimes the message is that you are being asked to wake up too, and that changes everything. Keep watching. The next layer goes deeper. For them, this turning point may feel intense because it is forcing them to meet parts of themselves they avoided for a long time. Your presence once gave them comfort, reflection, warmth, maybe even safety. Your absence has removed that cushion. Now they are left with themselves, and in that space patterns become visible. They may begin to see how old pain shaped the way they treated you, how fear made them pull away, how pride made them stay silent, how uncertainty made them choose distance over truth. These realizations can be heavy. No one enjoys facing the version of themselves that failed to handle something precious well. But that discomfort is often where change begins. For you, the invitation is different. You are not being called into confusion. You are being called into clarity, into balance, into the ability to feel the connection deeply without becoming trapped by outcome. That is real strength. To recognize meaning without forcing resolution. To acknowledge emotion without letting it rule your life. To stay open without surrendering your center. This is where real growth happens, not in desperate movement, but in grounded awareness. And if you can stay there, you will see more clearly than you ever have before what this bond truly is and what it is not. The urgency in this moment exists because these windows of insight do not stay this open forever. There are periods when deeper truth rises close to the surface and becomes easier to feel, easier to recognize, easier to understand. If ignored, it can sink back down again, not gone, but harder to access. That is why your awareness matters now. Turning away from these signals may feel easier, especially when they arrive without certainty attached. But doing that can delay an emotional opening that is trying to happen inside you. These signals are not asking for instant action. They are asking for presence. They are asking you to notice what returns, what lingers, what keeps tapping at your attention when the rest of life goes quiet. If you repeatedly reject what you truly feel, you do not become free. You become disconnected from your own inner guidance, and over time that creates confusion. You stop trusting your instincts. You stop hearing what your deeper self is trying to say. But when you allow yourself to notice what is rising, without immediately acting on it, understanding begins to form. Slowly, naturally, honestly. That is how clarity comes. Not through force, not through chasing, through being still long enough to hear what is already speaking inside you. There is more at stake here than the question of whether this person reaches out. The deeper issue is your relationship with your own truth. Because every time you push away what you genuinely feel, you move further from your own center. And every time you sit with it calmly, you return to it. This connection may keep drawing your attention, not because you are meant to stay stuck, but because something in it still contains meaning for your growth. It may be showing you where you still long to be chosen, where you still fear being forgotten, where you still carry tenderness that has not been fully honored. Or it may be showing you that your heart recognized something real, even if the outer form could not hold it at the time. These are not small lessons. These are life-shaping lessons. And sometimes the greatest shift does not happen when the other person finally speaks. Sometimes it happens when you finally understand why this mattered so much and what it awakened inside you. That understanding can free you from confusion, even before anything changes on the outside. And that is powerful, more powerful than waiting, more powerful than guessing, more powerful than trying to control the next step. Because once you know your truth, you stop begging the world to explain it back to you. At the same time, do not mistake awareness for passivity. Awareness is active in its own quiet way. It sharpens you, it helps you notice patterns without collapsing into them. It lets you feel the difference between intuition and fear, between genuine inner knowing and the mind's habit of creating stories. That matters here, because not every returning thought is a sign to act, but every recurring emotional pattern is worth understanding. Ask yourself what rises in you when they come to mind. Is it grief, longing, peace, unfinished anger, tenderness, recognition, a sense that something real remains? Do not rush the answer. Let it unfold. Watch how your body responds. Watch how your emotions move. Watch what memories return, and why those specific moments still carry force. Hidden truth often shows itself through repetition, through the same feeling returning in different forms until you finally look at it directly. So if this person keeps appearing in your inner world, there may be something there that still wants to be named, not dramatized, named, seen, understood. This is where so many people look away. Do not. Because clarity is often only one layer deeper than discomfort, and the people who stay long enough to reach that layer come out changed. It is also possible that this person is beginning to sense your energy in a new way. When a connection has depth, shifts are often felt before they are spoken. They may feel your absence differently now. They may sense that you are no longer available in the same way. They may feel the weight of what is no longer easy to reach, and that can stir something powerful. People often do not recognize the value of presence until they are forced to feel the outline of its loss. That realization can break through numbness. It can wake up memory. It can expose feeling that was hidden under distraction and habit. If that is happening, they may be standing at the edge of a truth they cannot comfortably ignore much longer. But again, this does not mean you should run toward them. It means you should remain steady. Let them meet their own truth without interference. Let the mirror do its work. Let silence reveal what noise once covered. If something real is forming, it will need honesty to sustain it, not pressure. And if honesty never comes, your awareness will still protect you from living inside illusion. Either way, you win by staying rooted in yourself, and that is the part no one tells you enough. Your calm is not weakness. Your restraint is not loss. Your clarity is your power. So if you have been sensing that something is shifting, trust yourself enough to at least pay attention. Not everything meaningful arrives with proof. Some things arrive first as pressure, as intuition, as returning thought, as a quiet emotional signal that keeps asking not to be ignored. There may indeed be a message here, from someone whose heart is more active than their words. There may be a realization unfolding in them that they are not yet ready to speak. There may be a bridge trying to form between two inner worlds that once touched deeply and never fully forgot each other. But your path is not to lose yourself in waiting for their courage. Your path is to stay awake to your own experience, to honor what you feel without letting it control you, and to remain open to truth in whatever form it arrives. If this connection is meant to move, it will move through honesty. If it is meant to teach, it will teach through awareness. If it is meant to close, it will close more gently once fully understood. And if it is meant to return, it will return with a clearer face than before. Stay with that. Sit with that. Because sometimes the most urgent message is not do something now. Sometimes the message is see clearly now. And that kind of seeing can change the whole story before a single word is ever spoken.